Perhaps my whole journey has been a lie. Search for the perfect camera. Why am I doing that? Why did I search for the worst camera ever made? What would that journey reveal? Something.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I figured today we do not try to find the perfect camera. What would happen if we combined every camera's fault to make the worst camera ever made? Right now, we're obviously not on that. We're on the Canon R8, best camera ever made. Voigtlander 20mm 23.5 at 5.6 with a shotgun mic to reduce traffic noise instead of the lav mic. I'm sick of rustling sounds. Give me a break. So in the worst camera ever made, you're going to need some color science, and I know only one company that could muster up the strength to give us what we need, and that would be Sony. Thank you, Sony, for your mixed lighting genius, where you just always get things right with your auto white balance. So we got Sony color science in there. The pinkish freak face of the Panasonic could chip in as a mentor to Sony. So oversaturated reds from the Panasonic line, helping abysmal green-faced reptilian Sony color science face design theories. Sony, you sicken me? Canon is pretty damn good. I think they're my favorite still. I did a vlog yesterday on the Nikon. Side by side. Hello to you, Mr. Nikon. We used to be best friends, me and you. Canon and Nikon. At the top. I think that's gonna happen soon. It's gonna be them two, and then Sony. They'll probably be number one, actually. But it was a nice little look. Nikon, Canon, color science, pretty good. Sony, sometimes it looks great. I'll be honest with you, sometimes Sony nails it. It's so rare. Now, you're gonna need some stabilization in this camera, and as we're witnessing now, Canon's too good with no IBIS and no lens state. Digital only. So, that's not gonna work. Panasonic, you stay out of the room on this. I do not want your input. We have a Sony-Fuji collaboration with the best IBIS in the business. Why the hell does Fuji have the worst wide-angle stave, but possibly the best telephoto stave? Which engineer is responsible? He should be locked in a bathroom. Someone should go in there first after a bunch of burritos, and then you lock them in after. Huh? You know, Chinese burrito torture. It's a thing. So I just don't understand how Fuji... I could understand if you were full frame. Oh, it's kind of hard to stabilize a full frame sensor. We can't do it. But you're APS-C. Panasonic, Nikon, and Canon have all shown you that stave can be pretty good in full frame. Yet your smaller sensor that has so much room to just fly, it does nothing. It's a sad joke that Canon with just digital stave is more stable than Fuji with IBIS plus lens stave plus digital. Like 3 things that should be working, and there's no combination that will work. Just IBIS, just lens. You can't even do that. Just digital. I've never tried that, because none of their cameras don't have IBIS. Your IBIS sucks. I'm not sure why I'm even including Sony in this collaboration with the IBIS, but like I've noticed it's quite bad still, even with their active stave. It improved quite a bit. It's some wind. Look who's bringing back the dumpster vlogs. That's some content. So Sony's just bad. I think they are improving on it. Apparently the A9 III has 8 stops of IBIS. I'd like to test it, but I don't know, man. Every time I look at a Sony sensor, the corners are cut off in their tiny mount. How long is that mount going to last? Everyone else made a bigger one. I don't know, man. You're sticking to that thing. If you ever abandon it, that's going to be weird. They're going to have to one day. Will it happen? Okay, I just switched to portrait in Canon. I don't think I've ever tried that. That should be the best vlogging portrait setting color-wise. So we were in log. Now, no longer. So Sony, You've had some input so far, haven't you, on the first two things? That's not a good trend. Maybe abandon that. And also, I want Sony's push wheel that I have to hold the button to change the custom modes. I love that so much. Can't just flick it or lock it. You have to hold it down. That was a great design. Love that guy. Maybe he should be in the burrito room with the other. Yeah, maybe he should. Canon menu system. Didn't think you were going to see that today, did you? Everybody loves Canon menus. I disagree wholeheartedly. When you press the menu button, okay, it looks all nice on paper. It's red for this video setting and then blue over here. Green, oh, nice color-coded mess. But when actually using it to change settings, you would not believe the hell you have to go through. Not only, if I wanted to switch out of log, which I just did, I had to dive into the menu to turn log off instead of it just being one of the profiles in my quick menu. Why isn't it? Portrait? No. Log? Yeah. Like every other company does. Sony also has it very strange with their picture profiles, and then you can change each one. So like picture 1 could be log, but it wasn't before, and it could be anything you want. That's kind of strange. And then you check those off, and then you're in a different set of standard faithful user. Like, that's kind of strange. It's better than this. Canon, man. Turning the high frame rates on? Are you kidding me right now? Instead of just, tap on the quick menu, switch over to 180p. No. Gotta turn high frame rate on, and then all these default settings. Unfrickin' believable. Not only does it default to 120p instead of 180, your best. So you have to change, boom, and then when you get out, it defaults back to HD 60p. Who's ever in that? It's like, I want, just go back to 4K 24, my movie in 24p. Nothing jitters, ever. I would also love Canon codecs, because they're so fun to edit and easy. You scrub right along there, and nothing ever breathes hard than your fans. It's a computer. They're so hard to edit. It's so stupid. Like, in this, when I'm in log and 10-bit 4K 24p, it's hard to edit. It's never smooth. And I'm in the light format, IPB light, because regular IPB, which is bullshit compared to all I, which isn't even in here, at least the light, I can somewhat edit the files. When I go to 4K 60, yeah, those are fun nature episodes. Imagine doing a whole wildlife setup and I have to scrub through that shit. It's hell. It's hell. Like this right now, we're in 8-bit. It's so much easier to edit. But it's worse. There's less dynamic range in the clouds. What kind of exposure bullshit was that? I realized we're jumping all over the place. It was supposed to be each company that we're going through, but I somehow went through the features first. Oh boy, that's on me. Fuji, you're actually in control of polish, the final product, because you suck at it. They're the least polished system. It's always like, autofocus pretty good, but something's a little off with it. A little jumpy and jerky. That's not good. It's not polished. IBIS, at times, if you're just standing, you might be alright. And telephoto, not bad. But then you move, things get bad quick. You're not polished. Your color science, fantastic. Possibly gimmicky with your film sims, but I love it. I love them. But then your auto white balance is like, we love magenta too much in your face. I don't want a purple face. I have enough problems in my life. I actually have purple lips sometimes. This is a disease of some sort. I have no oxygen in my body. That's fine. I don't need it. When it comes to OM system, don't think I left you out. You're in charge of just ingenuity and inventions because you're just leading the industry and changing the landscape of what we thought was possible. Every year you just show us like, wow, that's what should be done. Look what they're releasing. So much new stuff that I never even thought was possible. OM system. Why don't you release something someday? You were bought by a sushi company. Okay, I'm okay with that. Are you? The leaders of the company? You're not releasing anything. Nothing is happening there. I get that you're downsized and you fired almost everybody. 90% of the Olympus team is dead because you starved them of sushi. You wouldn't even give them the sushi that you make. So it's like, they're doing nothing. I'm waiting. Let's not forget here, at a time, Olympus was leading the industry with the most natural color science, best stave in the business, weather sealing. It's like a nice look. This almost reminds me of a Nikon Z30, how your specs weren't great, but it just looked great. You could return to that one day, but hot damn, you're not doing it. So like, invention department, that's OM system, and the worst camera ever made. Now Nikon, since they can do no wrong and they are the perfect company. She's walking weird. She stepped like this. That's funny. It is muddy. She could have died. Nikon has the reverse mount. Let's keep that rolling, huh? Instead of like all our lives, we've learned that lefty loosey, righty tighty for pop bottles, for any food container, anything goes on, it's right tight. Let's just opposite that. So our mount is boom, lefty tighty. Fun times. And the focus. I love that I've been getting used to telephoto goes left, macro is right. Let's do the opposite with that. Love that, Nikon. What side of the world were you on when you were flushed down a toilet in the opposite spinning direction? You're from Australia. You're Japanese, you piece of shit. But I forgive you, Nikon, because you're Nikon. You're Nikon. You're the best, as we're witnessing. This pales in comparison. Even though every side-by-side I've done so far, I've preferred Canon. I love Nikon for some reason that I can't figure out. In fact, little side rant, I'm debating buying a Canon R10 if I can find a super deal on it. I don't know why, but I kind of want to see Canon R10 with the 10 to 18. How does that compare, that budget super light setup, to the Nikon Z30 with the 12 to 28? I'm also debating buying that 12 to 28. I did find a pretty good deal. Not bad. Maple Leaf Photo. Sometimes they have really good deals in Canada. But I don't know that I can bring. It's $1,000, the R10. For nothing. You get almost nothing. And then that 10 to 18 is not even released yet. And it'll probably really suck. Man, you might as well just use the R8 in crop mode, but you can't do 180 frames per second. I just tried. You can't do it. When it comes to Panasonic, I have not forgot you. You're in charge of deciding what features work and what don't in each mode. Let's lead the industry with some HD 300 frames per second with no autofocus. Let's just do what we want whenever we can, but not all the time. That's what Panasonic is best at. This camera's gonna suck. Sony color science with Fuji Ibis. Frickin' Panasonic cripple hammers. HD 120 frames per second, but no autofocus or auto exposure. To get to that, you're doing the Canon menu system, diving deep into 3 different subsections to turn things on, and then switching with the Sony dial, pushing in. This is going to be bad news as you break your wrist trying to put the Nikon mount on and missing the shot because you autofocus to infinity the wrong way. I hate this camera so much, but it will be good, and I will buy it, and you will buy it too. It's the Sony Leica Nikon 6. Forgot GoPro should be in charge of if the camera will run or not. Just make sure it won't freeze. I want GoPro in charge of that. So, I think we've done well. We've made a camera, and you will buy it. Thank you for watching the Canon episode. So glimmer-like. Huh? It's a cloudy day. It's glimmering. Subscribe for more content.